Good morning everybody, I am Sarah with the trains, and today you find me on a train heading in the direction of Sheringham. I'm actually going to be getting off at North Walsham, and today we're exploring a disused railway line. It's absolutely freezing cold today. It's freezing fog. It's January, so I've lost count of how many layers I've got on to keep me warm, but we'll have a nice day and end up at the coast. Let's go. So we have made it to North Walsham. I've had to come and find a bit of a shady spot to film in because it is so bright today. I have been to North Walsham a couple of times before, and I'm going to pop a link up there to the first time I came to North Walsham, which is 2 years ago now, because that gives you a lot of information about the station and a good chunk of the Bittern line. This wasn't the only station in North Walsham, however. There was another North Walsham station, which became known in 1948 as North Walsham Town. This became known as North Walsham Main. We're going to go now and find where that used to be. Is this snow? We haven't had a single flake in Norwich. Now what you are looking at here, although it looks like an A road now, is roughly the site of North Walsham Town Station. North Walsham Town Station, as it became known, was opened in 1881 by the Midland and Great Northern Joint Railway on a line that went to Yarmouth. In 1898, another line opened up, and that went from North Walsham Town to Mundesley. That's actually going to be the line we're exploring today. North Walsham Town Station had 2 platforms connected by a footbridge, as well as a signal box and a goods yard. After closure, the station buildings were used by Jehovah's Witnesses before its eventual demolition to make way for the construction of the bypass in 1976. North Walsham Town sadly closed to passengers in 1959 and then to freight in 1966, leaving just the one station in North Walsham Main, or as we now know it, just plain old North Walsham. We're now going to head off in the direction of Mundesley, and our next station is going to be Paston and Knapton. Fortunately for us, we've got a nice route because the old track bed has been turned into a footpath called Paston Way, so let's go find the entrance to that. Oh, blinking heck, these steps. So we are now on Paston Way. This is going to take us along the track bed of the old line all the way to the site of Paston and Knapton station. Paston and Knapton is actually nearer to Knapton than it is to Paston. The walk is about 2 miles, so let's get settled in for a nice walk, and maybe Narration Sarah will give us a few facts about Paston and Knapton. But before we start, here's the old road bridge over the line. What used to be a road is now actually blocked off to traffic. It is just a footway now. Paston and Knapton station was opened in 1898 on the line between North Walsham town and Mundesley-on-Sea, and was closer to Knapton than Paston. The station had one platform, a station building and sidings including cattle pens. The station was closed to passengers on the 5th of October 1964 and then to goods on the 28th of December that same year. The station building is still in existence, but is now a private residence. A pipeline along the route of the old Mundesley line was constructed to carry gas condensate from Bacton Gas Terminal, which was constructed in 1968. This is transported by rail to Harwich from the goods yard at North Walsham, which is on the site of the field between the two North Walsham stations. Just found this little sign asking workmen not to destroy this apple tree. I wish I was here in the warmer months so I could see it in bloom, or maybe even some apples. I like that I've seen a few benches along this route. I think I may need one. Now we've come to a bit that's fenced off. The bridge here has obviously been removed, I'm not sure why, so we're going to have to go down some more steps. We are now crossing over the old North Walsham and Dilham Canal, which is now disused. The North Walsham and Dilham Canal opened in 1826. It was 8.7 miles long and ran from two bone mills at Antingham to a junction with the River Ant at Smallborough. It carried offal for the bone mills and agricultural products. The last commercial use of the canal was in 1934. Down here on the bridge over the North Walsham and Dilham Canal, you can see the remains of the old bridge. Now, I could happily have stayed on the bridge over the canal quite a bit longer, but there were some little kids coming along who wanted to play poo sticks on the bridge, and I'm not going to stop them doing that. Why is there an old bathtub down there? I think that's just going to be one of those things where I'm endlessly curious about it, but I'll never know the answer. Much like the guy in 2013 who was walking through Crewe Station with a rocking horse. Who gets on the train with a rocking horse? Ooh, there are some steps off the Paston Way. And there's some kind of notice board down there. Let's go see what that is. Ah, this is the National Wildlife Trust Pigneys Wood. So if you want to hop off Paston Way and explore Pigneys Wood, there are stairs to do so. But now, let's get back up to the old track bed. I found another one of these very welcome benches, and I think I'm going to have a welcome break on this welcome bench, because I've got a bottle of tea in my bag, and I feel a bit thirsty. Okay, maybe I won't actually sit on it, it's icy. So I made this bottle of tea about 8:15 this morning. It's now about 11:45. It's still so hot I can't actually drink it. This bottle's amazing. It did used to have Winnie the Pooh on it, but sadly that's rubbered off over the last few years. I love going for random walks in the countryside. I just got to pet a very nice, polite doggy who brought me her ball. So I have found another bridge that has partly been dismantled. It's now got a wooden footbridge over it. And I'm very sad to see that some people have found it necessary to put graffiti on it. Apparently they call themselves the Bridge Boys Original. I have found a mystery brick-built structure. I really don't know what this is. Let's see if going around the other side gives us any clues. No, because you can't get because there's a fence. Looks to me like that may be an old chimney. I'm not sure if that's going to be marked on any old maps, but we'll find out. Whether this could have been an old plate layer's hut from the railway, I don't know. It looks a bit substantial for that. From looking into this further, I do believe it was indeed a plate layer's hut. A plate layer is a railway worker tasked with inspecting and maintaining a particular piece of the railway line. The hut would have contained a table, chairs, basic sort of rest facilities, and a little stove for heating. We have found yet another lovely old road bridge over the line. Oh, this sign tells us we're now in Knapton Cutting, so we are really quite close to the site of Paston and Knapton, and it's a butterfly nature reserve. This old railway cutting in the frost is so beautiful. So we have now come to the end of that part of Paston Way. I thought that was the end of Paston Way in its entirety, but just looking across the road, there is another sign that says Paston Way, and it does follow what I've seen on the map as being the old track bed. How far that's going to take us, I don't know. I don't think it's going to take us all the way to Mundesley, but we'll certainly give it a good go. The station building at Paston and Knapton does still exist. It is on the other side of this road, but it is now a private residence. I'm going to see if I can get a view of it from Paston Way. I have a strong suspicion I'm not going to be able to see it, but we'll see. This footpath really smells. Or is it the field? This pathway is really rather narrow. As nice as it would be to have a path that takes us all the way to the old station at Mundesley, I'd like it to widen a bit. Now we've got a little sign here for Paston Way. Taking us that way, I can see something else up there. I'm going to double check the map because I don't want to go a completely wrong way. Right, if this goes the way I think it goes, we're going to be able to follow a bit more of the track bed. I think wellies might have been a good idea today. Now that way would take us away from the old track bed, but this would help us follow it. Let's see how far we can go. We may have to turn back, but who knows. I nearly didn't notice that. We're going over an old rail bridge. Now we've come down from that path there, and looking at maps, we should probably be going sort of that direction, but because I don't want to end up getting somehow trapped, I'm going to head back to the main road, just because I don't want to end up accidentally trespassing. Alright, I have found a little path that I believe will take us down to the road. Right, we are back on the road. Now we're going to try and find some more relics of the old line. Walking through Knapton village, I found a King George V postbox. Now it does seem that I am on a bit of a fool's errand trying to follow any more of the track bed by going this way. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go back through Knapton and pick up the main road towards Mundesley. A good old-fashioned walk with no pavements. Oh, finally I'm able to walk along the edge of a field. I must say, this has turned out to be a really beautiful day, and I am actually starting to get a bit too warm with all the clobber I've got on. Never mind. We have made it to Mundesley. Now it's time to head off and find some railway stuff. I am now at the site of Mundesley-on-Sea railway station. The station opened with the line in 1898. The same year, the Great Eastern Railway and the Midland and Great Northern Joint Railway sort of teamed up to make the Norfolk and Suffolk Joint Commission and proposed a line to connect Mundesley with Cromer. The line wasn't actually completed until 1906 because of issues with the contractor going bankrupt. but that line stayed in place until 1953 when services were withdrawn. Mundesley-on-Sea remained as a station connecting North Walsham and, funnily enough, Mundesley, until 1964, when in October of that year the last passenger service to North Walsham ran. The tracks were lifted in 1966. When the station opened here, it had 3 through platforms and 1 bay platform. The platforms were connected by a footbridge, there were goods sidings, including cattle pens, and on the other side of the road bridge there was a signal box. As you can see from this photograph, the station building was quite elaborate with that beautiful canopy. Let's have a little look of what remains today. Well, there's this planter in the shape of a train. The location of the station is now empty land and housing, as is the area that was once home to the signal box. Now that we've explored the history of the lost station of Mundesley, let's have a little walk down to the beach, because I've never been to Mundesley before. Made it down to the sea at Mundesley. I think it's a good time for me to say thank you all so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit like and leave a comment, and consider subscribing if you want to see more from me. I'll see you all next time for another railway adventure. I'm now going to head off and get the bus to Cromer and see if my favourite chippy is open. I don't know if it will be in January. Bye. As always, an extra special thank you to all of my patrons and channel members whose names are listed on screen now, as well as everybody who donates to me on Ko-fi. Your generous support is very much appreciated and keeps the channel going. You're never going to guess what? My flask of tea that I made 6 hours ago. Still too hot to drink.
If you see something that doesn't look right, speak to staff or text the British Transport Police on 61016. We'll sort it. See it, say it, sort it.